It was a beautiful night, perfect for a romantic dinner, or for an obsessed fisherman chasing mystical creatures. A mermaid was swimming near the shore, carrying her baby Cody, when a certain fisherman named Big John spotted something moving in the water. With his nearsighted shark vision, he thought it was a giant fish and started the chase. The mermaid, realizing she was being followed, did what any mother would do. She left the baby in a random couple's boat and lured the fisherman away. Big John, upon realizing that the fish was actually a mermaid, became completely obsessed with finding them. And so, Cody ended up being raised by Whit and Sharon Griffin, a lovely couple who run boat tours. Years later, Cody became an exceptional swimmer, a star on his school team, with a girlfriend named Sam and a rival named Sean, who basically existed just to be jealous of him. Everything seemed normal, until puberty decided to be way more extreme than expected. Cody was already dealing with the pressure of a big swimming championship and the fact that he was failing biology. To make things worse, he was paired with Jess, the class nerd who claimed to be a marine biology expert. But Cody only cared about his 13th birthday party. During the party, he went out to get some water, and Sam took the opportunity to give him a pretty lame gift, a picture of herself. Seriously? And tried to kiss him. The problem? He electrocuted her right at that moment. Meanwhile, Jess arrived at the party on his bike, got ignored by the popular crowd, and, feeling offended, handed Cody's mom his present before leaving. That night, Cody dreamed of a mysterious woman swimming toward him, and the next day, his life turned into an episode of X-Men, First Class. First, he electrocuted his alarm clock. Then, he got his hands stuck to a milk carton, which led to a very awkward exchange of confused looks between him and his mom. His dad walked in and, like any dad, just rolled his eyes and went back to drinking his coffee. With no idea what was happening, Cody turned to Jess, the only person who could help him. Jess noticed something weird. Scales were forming on Cody's hands. That, combined with the fact that he swam faster than a jet ski, was starting to suggest a bizarre truth. Cody tried to ignore it, but that became impossible when he woke up stuck to his bedroom ceiling. That was when his parents finally called a doctor who diagnosed it all as puberty. Because, of course, every teenager in puberty develops electric powers and scales. With no real help, Cody turned to Jess, who decided to go full mad scientist and ran a bunch of tests. The conclusion? Cody was turning into a merman. So, while other kids were dealing with acne and voice cracks, he was growing gills and superpowers. With a resume like that, he could be Aquaman's cousin, just with weirder abilities. In shock, no pun intended, Cody confronted his parents about his real family. When he noticed they were acting defensive, he wet his hands and showed them the scales. Now, reality hit them. Whit and Sharon finally explained how they had found him in a boat and adopted him. That explained a lot, but nothing prepared Cody for the big news. He couldn't compete in the swimming finals because water was only speeding up his transformation. Seriously, imagine the scene. He dives in and comes out with a fishtail in the middle of the competition. That would either be the end of his popularity or the start of a Discovery Channel documentary. If I were in Cody's place, I definitely would not ignore signs that I was turning into a fish. Like, if you wake up stuck to the ceiling, maybe it's time to accept that something's wrong. Now, I would test the limits of my powers. Controlling electricity, talking to fish, that could be useful. Also, I'm kind of intrigued by how random the villain of this story is. Big John spent years obsessed with mermaids just because he saw one once? Dude, get a hobby. But anyway, back to the story. Cody was trying to live his normal teenage life, or as normal as you can when you're turning into a fish, when he overheard his parents worrying that he might end up as a government lab experiment. So he did what anyone would do. He ran to the ocean to clear his mind. But when he got out of the water, he realized he now had sharp fins on his arms. To hide them from his girlfriend Sam, he buried his arms in the sand, which was totally not suspicious. Sam, being a reasonable person, thought Cody was acting weird and left him alone. Little did she know that this was only the beginning of the aquatic show. But Cody wasn't going to let some scales and fins ruin his moment of glory. He entered the swim competition and not only won but also broke the state record. Unfortunately, he also revealed his scales and fins in the pool, which is not exactly an approved swimsuit by the Sports Federation. To cover it up, he caused an epic short circuit and fled like a true aquatic secret agent. His teammate Sean saw the scales and immediately thought, "Cheater!" and started a hunt. Cody, proving that he not only inherited fish skills but also spider skills, hid on the locker room ceiling. But the guy didn't give up and promised to uncover Cody's secret. At home, Cody's parents tried drying him off like a wet puppy, but things were getting serious. His scales were lasting longer. While trying to calm his family down, Jess showed up with the latest local gossip. Everyone was talking about Cody running from the pool. Shortly after, Sam arrived, saw his scales, and fainted like she had just seen a ghost. Or worse, her mom's credit card bill. When she woke up, Cody tried explaining that he was turning into a merman. But Sam didn't find this revelation as romantic as she had hoped and ran off. The next day, Cody and Sean finally fought because to Sean, being part fish was basically the same as cheating. With no one on his side, Cody confided in Jess, who, at least, didn't abandon him. Friendship points for him. Later, Cody decided to swim again and finally met his real mother, who was also a mermaid. But, of course, Big John, the world's most obsessed fisherman, saw everything and interrupted the mother-son reunion with his marine paranoia. The next day, Cody called Sam to prove he was still the same guy and suggested a romantic trip to the water. Everything was going fine until, suddenly, he started transforming completely. While Sam went to get help, Cody was kidnapped by Big John, who planned to use him as bait to capture the mermaid mom and prove he wasn't crazy. A very questionable plan, by the way. Jess arrived just in time to see that Cody had almost fully turned into a fish and helped free his mother, but he ended up trapped in the net. When Big John heard Jess screaming for help, he realized that maybe some things were more important than catching mermaids and jumped into the water to save the kid. In the end, it was Cody who saved everyone by giving Jess a literal electric shock, basically turning himself into a walking defibrillator. Cody's mermaid mother appeared again, and he realized he needed to go with her to understand his transformation. Sharon, his adoptive mom, was heartbroken, but Cody showed that he was now pretty much ready to star in Aquaman. The mermaid mother promised he'd be back before school started, and his parents finally accepted it. Jess asked Cody to return with stories about the underwater world, and Sam just wanted him to promise not to date any mermaids. A valid concern, to be honest. With that, Cody dove into the ocean and disappeared into the depths. And so ends the story of a boy who started as just another swimmer and ended up as the true prince of the seas. And if you were Cody, would you have told your girlfriend about your transformation from the start? Or would you have waited for her to faint first? I tell her right away, but what about you? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.